सभापति महोदय, आदरणीय मंत्री जी ने कहा कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कई ऑब्जर्वेशंस दी हैं, उनकी चर्चा वो बाद में करेंगे। ठीक है। चुनाव आयोग का आधार प्रजातंत्र की शुचिता है, प्रजातंत्र की निष्पक्षता, संविधान और डेमोक्रेसी प्रजातंत्र जिसको हम कहते हैं, उसका आधार ही निष्पक्ष चुनाव है और निष्पक्ष चुनाव करवाने वाली एजेंसी चुनाव आयोग है। 4 शब्द जब भी आप चुनाव आयोग की बात करेंगे, निष्पक्षता, निर्भीकता, स्वायत्तता और शुचिता, ये 4 शब्द एक काबिल कानूनविद के तौर पर, आप सभापति जी भी हैं पर आप एक काबिल वकील भी हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के, किसी व्यक्ति के जहन में भी 140 करोड़ लोगों के देश में आएगा। ये जो कानून आज माननीय मंत्री जी और सरकार लेकर आई है, ये इन चारों शब्दों को बुलडोजर के नीचे कुचलने वाला कानून है। मेरा ये विनम्र आग्रह है। और इससे पहले कि मैं बिल के प्रावधानों की चर्चा करूं, सभापति जी, इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ इलेक्शंस, जिसे अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं, एंड अवॉइडेंस ऑफ इंटरफियरेंस ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव, ये इलेक्शन मशीनरी इन दोनों बातों से प्रेरित होगी। ये हमारे संविधान के संविधान निर्माताओं ने कहा। काश आदरणीय कानून मंत्री जी, मेरी और आपकी और इस देश के लोगों की नहीं, तो जो बाबा साहब अंबेडकर ने कहा था और जो संविधान सभा में चर्चा हुई थी, अगर एक नज़र उस पर डाल लेते तो शायद ये इस कानून को अभी वापस ले लेते या बनाते ही, लेकर ही नहीं आते। सभापति जी, बाबा साहब ने क्या कहा था इलेक्टोरल मशीनरी के बारे में, मैं उसके कुछ शब्द आपकी अनुमति से यहाँ पढ़कर बताना चाहूँगा। 15 जून 1949 को संविधान सभा के अंदर इलेक्शन कमीशन और इलेक्टोरल मशीनरी, चुनाव आयोग, प्रजातंत्र की शुचिता और स्वायत्तता, उस पर चर्चा हुई। 2 और सदस्यों ने बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण बातें कही, मैं उनकी तरफ आपका ध्यान आकर्षित करूंगा, पर बाबा साहब ने क्या कहा मैं वो पढ़कर बताना चाहूंगा। एंड आई कोट, इन ए वेरी अर्ली स्टेज इन द प्रोसीडिंग्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली, a committee was appointed to deal with what are called fundamental rights. This is what Baba Sahib is saying. That committee made a report that it should be recognized that the independence of the elections and the avoidance of any interference by the executive in the elections to the legislature should be regarded as a fundamental right and provided for in the chapter dealing with fundamental rights. When the matter came up before the House, it was the wish of the House that while there was no objection to regard this matter as of fundamental importance, it should be provided for in some other part of the Constitution and not in the chapter dealing with fundamental rights. But the House affirmed without any kind of dissent that in the interest of purity and freedom of elections to the legislative bodies, it was of the utmost importance that they should be freed from any kind of interference from the executive of the day. This is what Baba Sahib said. And I quote Baba Sahib Ambedkar further, sir. Therefore, so far as the fundamental question is concerned, that the election machinery should be outside the control of the executive government, there has been no dispute. What Article 289, which today is commensurate to 324, what Article 289 does is to carry out that part of the decision of the Constituent Assembly. It transfers the superintendence, direction and control of the preparation of the electoral rolls and of all elections to Parliament and the legislatures of the states to a body outside the executive. That's what Baba Sahib says, to be called the Election Commission. And sir, not only Baba Sahib Ambedkar, he was reacting to what two other members were saying, and I like to quote two lines from what was said by two members of the Constituent Assembly. One was Professor Shibban Lal Saxena, and I quote him, sir. It is quite possible that some party in power who wants to win next elections may appoint a staunch party man as chief commissioner. Unquote. I also quote, sir, Pandit Hridayanath Kunzuru. Quote, we are going in for democracy based on adult franchise. It is necessary, therefore, that every possible step should be taken to ensure the fair working of the electoral machinery. If the electoral machinery is defective or is not efficient or is worked by people whose integrity cannot be dependent upon, the democracy will be poisoned at the source, nay people. Instead of learning from elections how they should exercise their vote, how by judicious use of their vote they can bring about changes in the constitutions and reforms in the administration, will learn only how parties based on intrigues can be formed and what unfair methods they can adopt to secure what they want. In this context, Baba Sahib said that electoral machinery has to be necessarily independent and it has to be necessarily outside the interference of the executive. These were two fundamentals that the Constituent Assembly was unanimous. Constituent Assembly was also unanimous, sir, that a fair and free election bereft of the interference of the ruling executive is a fundamental right, though not included, but the entire spirit of the Constituent Assembly was this. I asked myself, मैं इस माननीय सभापति जी खुद से भी, इस सदन से भी, और हर वो व्यक्ति जो इस बात को सुन रहा है उनसे पूछता हूँ, और स्वयं से जब मैं सवाल पूछता हूँ कि क्या वो कानून जो आप लेकर आए हैं वो क्या बाबा साहब, संविधान सभा और संविधान सभा ने जो एक वॉइस से, एक मत से कहा था, बगैर लाग लपेट, बगैर राजनीतिक द्वेष के, क्या ये उस मापदंड पर खरे उतरता है? तो मुझे ये कहना पड़ेगा ये उस पर औंधे मुंह गिरता है. Let me now bring your kind attention to the provisions of the bill, as also the fact that Honorable Minister said that there are just some observations of the Supreme Court. सर, अगर आप इस कानून को देखें, इस बिल को देखें जो वो लेकर आए हैं, तो उसकी मैं ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहूँगा, और मेरे एक माननीय साथी ने उस पर अमेंडमेंट भी दी है, क्लॉज 7 पर. अब चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स की नियुक्तियां कौन करेगा? माननीय मंत्री जी जो कानून का मसौदा लाए हैं उसके मुताबिक माननीय प्रधानमंत्री चेयरपर्सन होंगे उस समिति के, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन जो हैं वो मेंबर होंगे, और एक यूनियन कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर जिनको भी प्रधानमंत्री जी चिन्हित करेंगे वो सदस्य होगा. यानी प्रधानमंत्री जी और एक उनके मंत्री जो उनकी मर्जी से चिन्हित किए जाएंगे, उन दो लोगों का बहुमत होगा. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सर इसके बारे में क्या कहा था, मैं पहले उसकी तरफ आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी का ध्यान आकर्षित करूंगा. 2 मार्च 2023 को लगभग 130 सफ़े के निर्णय में अनूप बरनवाल में जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा, मैं उसकी 8 या 9 लाइन इस सदन में पढ़कर बताना चाहूँगा. उन्होंने कहा पैरा 9 में, द एग्जेक्टिव अलोन बीइंग इन्वॉल्व्ड, एंड आई कोट, द एग्जेक्टिव अलोन बीइंग इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द अपॉइंटमेंट ensures that the commission becomes and remains a partisan body and a branch of the executive. The independence of the commission is intimately interlinked with the process of appointment. Para 165. The election commissioners, including the chief election commissioner, blessed with nearly infinite powers, and who are to abide by the fundamental rights must be chosen not by the executive exclusively and particularly without any objective yardstick. So sir, दो बातें कही गई. पहला कि एग्जेक्टिव एक्सक्लूसिवली चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की नियुक्ति नहीं कर सकता. दूसरा, किसी ऑब्जेक्टिव यार्डस्टिक के बगैर ये नहीं किया जा सकता. और इसी पैराग्राफ में कोर्ट ने एक कॉशन भी किया. एन इलेक्शन कमीशन which does not ensure free and fair polls as per the rules of the game guarantees the breakdown of the foundations of the rule of law. यानी रूल ऑफ लॉ, कानून के शासन को खत्म कर देगा एक ऐसा चुनाव आयोग जो निष्पक्ष नहीं है, जो एग्जेक्टिव के द्वारा नियुक्त किया जा रहा है या फिर वो एग्जेक्टिव के इंटरफेरेंस से परे नहीं. Equally, the sterling qualities which we have described, which must be possessed by us, by an election commission, is indispensable for an unquestionable adherence to the guarantee of equality in Article 14. लगभग 230 सफ़े का ये जो जजमेंट है, उसमें दो बातें साफ हैं. नंबर वन, the CEC and the EC, they must be arm's length from the government. Number two, the process has to be beyond influence or under the diktat of the executive of the day. Exactly what Baba Sahib had said, exactly what the Constituent Assembly had said was reiterated, was reaffirmed by none less than the Supreme Court judgment to which the learned minister is referring to. May I say, sir, that clause 7 militates against, I am deliberately using that word, I hope it's not unparliamentary, sir. And I'm subject to correction.
Surely there could be another word.
Yeah, it violates, negates the rigors and the affirmation by the Constituent Assembly, by Baba Sahib Ambedkar, by other individuals and honorable members of the Constituent Assembly. It militates against the very spirit of the Constitution that is enshrined in Article 14. It completely negates and subjugates Election Commission to the authority of the executive, and it does away with, may I respectfully say, it does away with willingly, if I may say maliciously, the judgment of the Supreme Court in toto. And that's why this law is per se like a stillborn child. Thirdly, sir, I also want to point out, sir, जैसा माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने कहा, आर्टिकल 14 जो हमारे मौलिक अधिकार का हिस्सा है और जो सत्ता में बैठे हुए सत्ताधीशों के बेलगाम कार्यों पर अंकुश लगाने का सबसे बड़ा तरीका है, ये पूरा कानून उस आर्टिकल 14 के लेटर और स्पिरिट के विरुद्ध है और मौलिक अधिकारों का उल्लंघन है. इसलिए जैसा माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने भी कहा, सर, सभापति जी, अपॉइंटमेंट्स कमेटी जो है वो अब एक एम्प्टी फॉर्मेलिटी है, इफ आई मे यूज दैट वर्ड, सर. क्योंकि अपॉइंटमेंट कमेटी है क्या? माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी द्वारा मनोनीत किए गए उनके एक और मंत्री. तो एक कहावत है गांव की, क्योंकि मैं ग्रामीण पृष्ठभूमि से हूं, आप भी, कि अंधा बाटे सीरड़ी मुड़ मुड़ अपने को दे. If Prime Minister and his minister is going to be the majority in the committee, why have the committee? Let the Prime Minister appoint everybody. Why even have this law? It's an empty formality. Secondly, sir, Supreme Court said, Constituent Assembly said, the first law minister of the country, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, said that ruling regimes to nominees make the entire process ineffective and negatory and redundant. And this is what the Supreme Court also said. I want to quote from those 4 lines in para 8 of that judgment, and I quote, sir, like the judiciary, इनफैक्ट वो एक कदम आगे गए और उन्होंने कहा चुनाव आयोग में और न्यायपालिका में कोई अंतर नहीं. And I quote, sir, para 8, like the judiciary, the election commission must display fearless independence in the absence of norms regarding the appointment. A central norm, that is institutional integrity, is adversely affected. An independent appointment mechanism would guarantee eschewing of even the prospect of bias. Sir, this is what the Supreme Court said, this is what the framers of the Constitution said, this is what this government is afraid of. I'm saying it with a sense of responsibility, for they don't want an independent election commission and CEC and EC. They want a pocket borough. उन्हें एक जेबी चुनाव आयोग की आवश्यकता है. ये कानून एक जेबी चुनाव आयोग का गठन करेगा. आप जेब से चुनाव आयोग निकालेंगे और जो आप चाहेंगे फिर वो प्रजातंत्र के साथ वो करेगा. इस कानून का फाइनल मतलब यही है सर. यू पिक और चूज का एक फॉर्मूला होगा. सर, मे आई रिस्पेक्टफुली ऑल्सो से सर that it does not pass any kind of constitutional muster. We have to be aware, this is an august house. After all, we have to be aware as to what we are doing and saying and what we are passing. This is manifestly arbitrary. These are ill-conceived attempt. This law is an ill-conceived attempt at consolidating undue executive control, total executive control over the electoral body, that is the Election Commission. It also, the process is arbitrary, the intent is malicious, and the result is disastrous, if I may say. That is what is going to happen, sir. And, sir, I again take the liberty of last time quoting the Supreme Court, where they said in para 119.
Before that, let me remind the honorable member.
Yes, sir.
With highest respect to everyone, the Parliament is the sole repository of lawmaking. And this is wisdom of the Parliament. Neither the executive, nor the judiciary, nor any other body.
So my time may be stopped.
No, I'm aware of that. Since majorly you are focused on Supreme Court judgment, as if the reflections therein have to bind us. I would expect the debate to rise to a very high level because this House, this Parliament, to the exclusion of any other entity, be it executive or judiciary, is supreme when it comes to lawmaking, and you are part of it. Extra 30 seconds.
Thank you.
कल तो और बोले सर. कल तो और कुछ बोल रहे थे. कल तो और कुछ बोल रहे थे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट.
You both are.
परसों और कुछ बोल रहे थे.
I'm really surprised.
कोई बात.
I'm really surprised, both of you.
Sir,
it is time we rise to some level at least.
सर कल आप ही बोले थे.
सभापति महोदय.
You represent a party that has a great history.
सर आप ही कल बोले.
क्या बोले? Let the honorable member rise and indicate what I spoke. Please rise. Take your seat. Indicate what I spoke. What did I say?
सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट के बारे में आपने बोला जब कोई कोर्ट कर रहा था.
Would you be good enough to quote me?
Sir,
do it during course of the day.
Sir, I'm doing. Sir, you allow me. You're not allowing me.
Mr. Nasir Hussain, during course of the day, go to the proceedings of the House yesterday and put it on the table that you rely on that. It is not a good habit. I am only making a plea to the members that we are Parliament of 1/6 of humanity. We are supreme when it comes to lawmaking. We cannot suffer intervention from any other organ, be it executive or judiciary. That's what I'm saying. Honorable member may continue. One sir, please take your seat. If there is a number, if your time comes, take your seat. Yes.
Sabhapati ji, let me begin by thanking you for your words of wisdom. You are much seasoned, both in age and experience, both in law as also perhaps in parliamentary practices. You have held many offices. But with all humility may I say, sir, you are 100% right that Parliament is the august body and is the overarching body. It is the fountainhead of democracy. But even the fountainhead of democracy, sir, will have its sanctity when it does not commit arbitrary acts and passes arbitrary law. The fountainhead of democracy must adhere to the very tenets of democracy out of which it is born. There is a power higher than us, and that is democracy itself and the Constitution itself. We may not be the interpreters of Constitution, we are framers of law. It is the Constituent Assembly and the Parliament which continues to amend that Constitution which enacted by the Constituent Assembly. But there is something called a higher spirit of democracy and an accountability to the constitutional norms. Yes. So as I stand today here, sir, and as I say what I say to my esteemed minister, who is very experienced, and I place before you, with you all your wisdom and experience, I must say I am conscious, I am duty bound, and I am answerable to that highest spirit of democracy and the Constitution which was enacted by this very Parliament. And that spirit of the Constitution and that spirit of democracy today tells me, sir, that a law is being brought which will tarnish, bulldoze and sabotage that very democracy and undermine the very constitutional practice that you and me and each one of us swear by. And that is my anguish today, which I seek to place through you before this august House and also place before the Honorable Minister. Supreme Court only interprets the Constitution. They are also defender and protector of the Constitution. Many times we have said that. And I did not quote the Supreme Court in the beginning, may I remind you, sir. I'm only responding to what the Honorable Chair said to me. I began by the words of and the wisdom of Baba Sahib Ambedkar. I began by the wisdom of Constituent Assembly. And this was the only issue. Independence of Election Commission, lack of interference from the political executive, and an electoral machinery which is only and only answerable to the tenets of democracy and fairness and equity was all that the Constituent Assembly was saying. We have seen, we have read through, sir, you've read through, I've read through many times the debates of the Constituent Assembly on many, many facets. Rarely I've found, rarely I may say, and please correct me because you've read perhaps Constituent Assembly debates far more times than I have, but I have also. Rarely I've found that not a single member of the Constituent Assembly disagreed that the fountainhead of democracy is fairness of the electoral process and independence of the election machinery. This was the only issue where the entire Constituent Assembly, irrespective of caste, color, creed, religion, political differences, ideological differentiation, they were unanimous. And that's all that I pointed out to the Honorable Minister. That's why, sir, I did not begin with the judgment of the Supreme Court. And I said, Supreme Court has only affirmed what was said by the Constituent Assembly. May I, sir, also point out?
Conclude, please conclude.
Yes, sir. I also want to point out that the law and what the Honorable Minister has brought, he negates and ignores not one, not two, but the 3 committees on the subject, 2 of which were appointed by your government. And may I just quote, sir, there was the Dinesh Goswami Committee on Electoral Reforms. Perhaps the chair was also a minister at that time in that government, sir. You were a minister. And that government was supported by the Bharatiya Janata Party, sir, then. It said, and I quote the report.
It was supported by nearly the entire House except your party.
Yes, sir. And what did that report say? So I am only saying, कम से कम जो खुद कहा है भैया उसको तो मान लीजिए, हाथ जोड़कर इतना ही कह रहा हूं, हमारी ना मानिए. Para 1.2 on page 9 of the report says, for CEC appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice, leader of opposition of Lok Sabha, and of course the largest leader of the largest opposition group. For EC, Chief Justice, leader of opposition, and the CEC. This was the recommendation made, ignored by the Honorable Minister. Again, their own Law Commission report number 255 on electoral reforms 2015, headed by Justice A.P. Shah. May I remind the Minister? What did that report say? Para 6 point, I'll just take 3 minutes by the watch.
You are eating into the time of your party only.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No problem.
I don't think so. My party has an objection, sir.
Go ahead.
And I'm sure the chair has none either.
The total time allocation to your party is 41 minutes.
Yes,
You
sir.
have taken 24.
Yes.
Can continue up to 41 if they agree.
Okay, sir. Para 6.12.5, sir, of the Law Commission report number 255 of 2015, headed by Justice A.P. Shah. I want to remind the Minister, and I quote, the appointment of all the election commissioners, including the CEC, should be made by the President in consultation with a 3-member collegium or selection committee consisting of the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha or the leader of the largest opposition party in Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. जब वो लॉ कमीशन की रिपोर्ट मानने की बारी आई मंत्री जी, तो आप इस दोनों बातों को खा गए. जो आपके लॉ कमीशन की रिपोर्ट है और आपके
use some other word. खा गए नहीं को.
आप उसको ओमिट कर गए सर. ओके सर, आई स्टैंड करेक्टेड सर.
Because he has unimpeachable credentials.
Very well, sir. I concede. Sir, my next short point is, अगर आप क्लॉज 5 ऑफ द बिल को भी ध्यान से देखें तो एक बड़ी यूनिक बात है. पहली बार ये निर्णय कर दिया गया कि चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर अब हिंदुस्तान का कोई नागरिक नहीं हो सकता एक्सेप्ट वन कैटेगरी. देयर इज कंप्लीट रिजर्वेशन नाउ ऑन who can be CEC and EC, either a serving secretary government of India or a retired secretary government of India. मतलब complete 100% reservation forever आपने कर दी. मैं केवल माननीय मंत्री जी से खुद से भी ये पूछता हूँ, sir, if you were not the speaker, could you not as a jurist be a CEC or a EC? I believe एक ऐसा व्यक्ति, और मैं ब्यूरोक्रेसी की कॉम्पिटेंस के बारे में नहीं कह रहा, पर ब्यूरोक्रेट ने तो कभी ना सरपंच का चुनाव लड़ा, ना पंचायत समिति का चुनाव लड़ा, ना जिला परिषद का चुनाव लड़ा, ना एमएलए का चुनाव लड़ा, ना एमपी का चुनाव लड़ा, ना किसी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी का चुनाव लड़ा. तो इलेक्शन की लिस्ट और इलेक्शन की मैनेजमेंट वो करेंगे जिन्होंने कभी जिंदगी में कोई चुनाव नहीं लड़ा. ये 100% आपने उनके लिए रिजर्व कर दी. क्या इस पर आप पुनर्विचार करेंगे? एक शॉर्ट पॉइंट ये था सर. एक शॉर्ट पॉइंट और मैं आई वॉन्ट टू मेक. जो एक सर्च कमेटी है जिसके माननीय मंत्री जी अब अमेंडमेंट भी ले आए हैं क्लॉज 6 में, ये सर्च कमेटी जो है ये बड़ी यूनिक है सर. और हिंदुस्तान में जितने और ऐसे कानून हैं उनके बिल्कुल अलग है. अगर आप इस पे देखें, पहले कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी इसके हेड थे, माननीय मंत्री जी खुद इसके हेड बन गए. सो इट इज़ नाउ हेडेड बाय द लॉ मिनिस्टर. वी हैव नो प्रॉब्लम्स. बट द सर्च कमेटी इज नाउ एक्चुअली ए स्टीयरिंग कमेटी. This steering committee will now eliminate candidates. Say, sir, I also apply as a former secretary, hypothetically I'm saying, or a serving secretary. They can eliminate any number of inconvenient people that they want. They will only select 5 people. For CVC, for CBI directors, it is not so. The search committee puts up all the names. पर यहाँ तो ये steering committee है, और वो एक कहावत है गांव की कि घर की बही काका लिखड़ियाँ, राजस्थान हरियाणा में कहते हैं. तो सर्च कमेटी कानून मंत्री है और इलेक्शन कमेटी प्रधानमंत्री है और उसके नॉमिनी उनके मंत्री हैं. तो घर की बही काका लिखड़ियाँ, अपनी मर्जी है जो करेंगे. सर, इट कैन नॉट बी स्टीयरिंग कमेटी दैट दे हैव टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट इट टू 5 people only. Why not place everybody? I don't know why they want to do so. One more thing, sir. Clause 17 of this bill runs contrary to Article 324(3). If you see Article 324(3), the CEC, the Chief Election Commissioner, is the chairperson of the commission. The constitution framers categorically recognize. So may I just read, it's only 2 lines.
Go ahead.
When any other election commissioner is so appointed, the Chief Election Commissioner shall act as chairman of the election commission. Sir, वो चीफ जस्टिस हों, वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर हों, वो चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर हों, उन्हें इलेक्शन कमीशन को रेगुलेट करना है। पर अब आपने बोल दिया कि कोई निर्णय हो, क्वासी जुडिशियल फंक्शन हो, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव फंक्शन हो, डेली फंक्शंस हो, वो मेजॉरिटी से डिसाइड होंगे। यानी कल को सभापति जी, हाइपोथेटिकली मंत्री जी अगर सीसी हैं और मुझे इनको नेगेट करना है, तो मैं 3 और मेंबर्स अपॉइंट कर दूंगा और फिर कहूंगा कि आप दफ्तर में अपनी कुर्सी पर नहीं बैठ सकते, या आप किसी फाइल पर साइन नहीं कर सकते, या आप किसी क्वासी जुडिशियल अथॉरिटी के मेंबर ही नहीं बन सकते जब सिंबल का निर्णय मेरे पास आएगा। आई फाइंड दिस स्ट्रेंज। The procedure and conduct is always done. If I was to say I am going to regulate procedure of this house, you will say no. Even deputy speaker can't do it. I am the chairperson. Deputy chairperson cannot do it. So chairperson inherently has powers to regulate, but this bill does not say so. In the end, sir, I only want to say to the honorable minister through your good offices, sir, there is an old saying of law, and I want to reiterate it today. Mantri ji, however high you may be, however powerful your government may be, whatever may be the brute majority you may enjoy, the democracy and the constitution is above you, and you cannot subjugate, bulldoze and trample over it. I also want to say, we, whatever may be our numbers as joint opposition of the India Alliance, we are defenders of Constitution of India. We are defenders of people of India. We are champions of the voice of the voiceless, and we will continue to do so. एक समय था सर जब EC, जो ये वर्ड है ना EC, इसका मतलब था इलेक्टोरल क्रेडिबिलिटी। दुर्भाग्य से अब आपने इसको बनाने का निर्णय किया है EC, इलेक्शंस कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड। सर, डोंट डू दैट। आपको इस देश में जेबी चुनाव आयोग नहीं चलेगा। जेबी चुनाव आयोग अगर आप इस कानून के माध्यम से बनाएंगे तो इस संसद, प्रजातंत्र और संविधान तीनों की शुचिता, निर्भीकता, निष्पक्षता और स्वायत्तता, आप उन सब का हनन करेंगे। थैंक यू सर।